world of gamers. Today I'm going to be taking a look at my Xbox collection. A stack of games anyways. I'm going to break it down into two parts because there's quite a few games to get through and I don't want to make a big ass video if I can help it, because people just don't watch big ass videos anymore. Or if you're anything like me, you maybe break big ass videos down into parts. So why not break this one down into parts? That was my thinking anyways. The original Xbox, it is one of my favourite consoles of all time. It is also known as the OG Xbox, the first console from Microsoft. I knew back in the day when it was announced that Microsoft were going to release a console that it would be more powerful than the PlayStation 2. I was a PlayStation 1 gamer before then. Everybody was getting excited about the PlayStation 2. I was as well. Then Microsoft jumped in and I said, do you know what? I'm going to take a chance on the Xbox. And I wasn't let down. It wasn't supported the same way that the PlayStation 2 was, but there was a decent sized amount of only on Xbox games, so exclusive games. And what Microsoft did when they followed up with the Xbox 360 was open up the console to play a large percentage of the games that were released for the console previously, the Xbox. So if you were like me and you went straight to Xbox 360, then your investment in the Xbox could carry over into the next generation. And still today, obviously, as well, because the games are backwards compatible. The ones that are backwards compatible without having to do anything except stick the disc in, it does a little update, and then you are ready to go. It's not every single game, it won't be some of your favorites, but it is a large percentage of the original Xbox library. Having said all of that, let's get into this before it drags out into a massive video, which I'm trying to avoid because people just don't like watching massive videos anymore. I don't like watching massive videos anymore. I will break them down into manageable chunks so that I can get through the larger videos that I want to watch. And I'm sure that there's many more people like me who do it as well. Here we go. Starting off with a game that came as a bundle. This is Grand Theft Auto 3. It was in a box with GTA Vice City as well, but I only have this one at the moment because I recently started to replay a game that was an absolute game changer. The Thing, if you have watched my Nintendo Switch video, you will know that I recently got through to the end of The Thing many years after first attempting it on the Xbox. I did own it on the Xbox. Couldn't get into it back in the day. I found it too difficult at times and too frustrating. But I managed to get all the way to the end of it. And it was good. It's decent. It's not the best horror game. It's alright. Not as good as the film. It's alright. Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. I started playing this again recently and I still haven't managed to get to the end of it. I have completed some of the other ones that came after it. I do intend to complete that one as well. Prince of Persia is one of my favourite game series of all time. Two games in a clear box. Project Gotham Racing 2 and Burnout Revenge. I think, if I remember rightly, I picked up one of these in a charity shop and then another one, I think I bought a game off eBay or I bought a game from somewhere, and when I opened the box, Project Gotham Racing 2 was in the box. Score for me. Evil Dead Regeneration. I've only played a little bit of this game. It just doesn't do enough to hold my attention, but it's one of those games that at some point I will sit down and go all the way to the end of. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Chaos Bleeds. I have attempted to play the Buffy games as well. Might have said pay, doesn't matter, play the games. And again, they don't hold me attention long enough for us to be able to give them a serious play. I think if I had picked those games up back in the day, then I probably would have went all the way to the end of them because I loved horror games. And back when I originally had an Xbox, horror games were few and far between. So those are the types of games, if I had saw them and picked them up, I probably would have just played them all the way to the end. Project Zero 2, Crimson Butterfly, the Director's Cut, which is only available on Xbox, has been remade and re-released recently. I will pick that up at some point. Sniper Elite. This is a recent pickup from a CEX store. I had this on my radar for a long time. The only Sniper Elite game that I've played is number 4, I think it is. I didn't finish it. I was enjoying it, got distracted, left it alone. The first one, I'll give it a play at some point. A game that I did actually complete, and I completed this many years ago, 13. I believe it was one of the first cel-shaded graphic games that I ever played, and I was surprised. It's kind of like a James Bond sort of game in a comic book style. It's worth a play. It's not a game that has any sort of depth to it, but it's definitely worth a once through. And it was also remastered, re-released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Conker, Live and Reloaded, originally a Nintendo 64 game. I've played it a couple of times, haven't been able to get very far in it just because it just hasn't held me attention. I do intend to complete it at some point, as you will hear me say over and over again throughout this video, throughout the rest of my life probably. Shin Megami Tensei 9, only on Xbox, Atlus, one of 4 or 5 Atlus titles on the Xbox. I think I have them all now actually. I'm sure I said that recently that I've eventually managed to pick them all up. It's all in Japanese, so when I do intend to give this a serious play, I will have to use some kind of translator to help us to get through that. Another game that I did actually finish back in the day, Deus Ex, Invisible War. I absolutely loved this game. At the time that I played it, I hadn't played a game like this. I know that people's opinions on this one and the first game differ. I still haven't played the first game, as I've said in other videos. I played it a couple of times at just the start of the game, but I haven't actually played it with the intent of finishing it. However, I did finish this one, so I know more about this, and I enjoyed this game, and I actually replayed and beat it again recently. The first one, I'm sure, will change my opinion on which one is best when I do finally get to the end of that one, but for now, I recommend playing this game as well. Evil Dead, Fistful of Boomstick. So similar to the other game that I showed at the beginning. Haven't played this one enough yet, and I did only just recently pick this up. Blade 2, I've only played the beginning. Vampire Horror. There's lots of vampire horror games on the Xbox. There was less zombie horror games. We didn't get Resident Evil, for example, which, you know, was a bit of a disappointment back in the day. Another Atlus title. Atlus known for publishing just absolute oddities. You know, sometimes you look at the games and think, because they were trying to make money. That's all it's about. Publishing games to make money. So this is Pro Fishing Challenge, and this is a sealed copy. And I got it at quite a decent price, considering the price that I normally would see that game listed at. The Suffering, Ties That Bind. Haven't played this one yet. I have played the first one all the way to the end. I got very close back in the day, and I only just finished it last year, I think it was. Brilliant game, the first one anyways. We'll get to that at some point. Matrix Path and Neo, which is supposed to be better than the first game that was released. The first game was buggy and a right mess. The second one, we'll find out. Soldier of Fortune 2, Double Helix, a recent pickup. I want to get a hold of the first game and give that a play before I jump into this one. I played a little bit of the beginning just to test it out, and I think it's going to be a game that I will enjoy. Another recent pickup, Sonic, the Mega Collection Plus. Lots of the original Sonic games, all on one disc. I was a Sonic fan back in the days because everybody had Sonic the Hedgehog in a Sega Mega Drive or a Sega Master System. Blood Omen 2 from the Legacy of Kain series. I'm sure one of these has been remastered as well. I think it might be Defiance, the one where Soul Reaver and Blood Omen come together. I think that's what I saw recently. Let us know in the comments if you know. I haven't played this one yet. The only one that I've actually played almost to the end was Defiance, and I do intend to beat that one. Thief, Deadly Shadows. I haven't played this game. The only Thief game that I've played is the one that was rebooted for the PlayStation 4, which I enjoyed. It wasn't a fantastic game, but I enjoyed it. This one is supposed to be a lot better, but not as good as the PC games, in the opinions of people who've played those games. Jade Empire, Biohazard, a game, not Biohazard, BioWare, a game that I've wanted to play for years, started a couple of times and thought, it's going to need a commitment, and then just put it off, and yeah, unfortunately that's what happens. Midnight Club, number 3, Dub Edition. Never played any of these games. Rockstar and Racing. It's probably good. It's probably a good series, but I'm just not that into racing games anymore, if I'm honest. When I was younger, Need for Speed all the way. Now, I just haven't got the same patience for them. And racing games are crap these days as well, to be honest. Let's be honest. They are. The last Need for Speed game I played, Heat. Tried to play some of the other ones before that. Yeah, they just don't have the same appeal. Anyways. Toge R. I've talked about this one before. This is another Atlus title. An Atlus racing game from Cave and Atlus. They released a series of these games from PlayStation 1 up until, I think, just up until Xbox. I don't think there was another one after that. Hill Racing, Hill Drifting. Beyond Good and Evil, a game that is highly recommended. However, I'm yet to give it a play. We're coming to the end of this pile and the end of part 1, and I've done alright time-wise. Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, another one from BioWare, and another one like Jade Empire where I've started it a couple of times and gone, oh man, I really want to play this. It's going to need a commitment, and I've got other things that I want to play as well. So I keep putting it off. I think what I'm going to do is pick these up for the Switch, and then that way I'm more likely to go all the way to the end. And then finally for this pile, a classic, The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. This is just the standard edition. There is a Game of the Year edition that you can pick up as well. I really do want to give this a try. I have started Skyrim a couple of times. I've started it in VR. I do want to continue in VR because it looks fantastic. There aren't many VR games for the PlayStation 4 that I've played so far that look good and still have the feel of a good game that you can play. Skyrim is definitely one of those that goes against that, and I want to continue on with it, and I definitely at some point want to sit down and play Morrowind as well. I've found as I'm getting older that I'm going back to certain games that I overlooked when I was younger, or just didn't have the patience for, or just wasn't into at that time, that style of game, that genre of game. And as I'm going back to them as an adult, I'm finding that I'm really enjoying some of the games that I missed out on, like Diablo, for example, which I'll talk about in another video at some point. That is it for part 1 of my Xbox collection. One of the things that I'm looking to do moving forward is get myself a capture card again and doing some little reviews of games and some other things that might take me fancy. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you, as always, for liking, watching, subscribing, commenting, joining me on this journey of me sitting, talking about games by myself. Peace. Stay safe out there. Bye for now.